lies, a curse, and people dying. These were the ingredients that some sicko out there mixed into a pot to drive a beloved concert into chaos. Gather round, kids. We're gonna learn about how a company turned Miku Expo 2024 into sloppy, cursed crap. Concerts featuring Hatsune Miku have been a thing ever since the explosion of Vocaloid in the late 2000s, and pretty much all of them had one thing in common. Miku and her friends were real! Kind of. What you're seeing on screen is a Pepper's ghost illusion, and it was accomplished by reflecting a projection of Miku from a separate room onto a glass panel to achieve the ghost-like hologram effect. It quickly became a signature of the concert series, alongside the energy of the fans with glow sticks and the beautiful song selection of classics played by a talented band. Fast forward to 2024, a Miku concert series is about to make its highly anticipated return with Miku Expo 2024. A 2-month tour all around Canada, the United States, and Mexico for the first time since 2018. It was going to be bigger, run by badder people, and with new, sexier songs. As the starting date approached for the first and northernmost concert in Vancouver, British Columbia, the once unstoppable hype quickly turned south. It's April 4th, 2024. People were lining up at the Thunderbird Arena to meet friends, geek out about their cosplays, and to take pictures with a Canada Miku cutout. There were also some people buying some last-minute merch before the concert started. However, people realized that stock sold out fast, and unusually so. The glow sticks are a staple in many idol concerts, and Miku Expo is no stranger to them. There was a special 2024 edition available on location, but there were only like 100 brought to be sold at the event. That disappointed many because there was a rumor stating that third-party glow sticks could not be brought inside. That was proven wrong later on though. There was also a rule stating that you could not film or take pictures of the concert that you paid to go to. What? Whatever. Maybe it's to let people live in the moment like it's 2002 or something. When the concert curtains rolled up and people oiled up, everyone saw that Miku was behind a TV screen. This is some 1984 stuff, right? Okay, granted, it wasn't an issue if you got seats directly in line with the TV, but if you got seats on the side, well, you got the Super Paper Mario experience. The magic of these concerts is realizing that Hatsune Miku is singing there with us. That is why people yearn so much for the hologram, but with the TV, there's only so much you can do before there's light glare or the borders get in the way. But it wasn't all bad. The song list was a mix of Miku concert classics and new fandom favorites, like the one and the only Miku Big! And of course, you can't forget Intergalactic Bound. There's this one line in the song, "Let's dance with the rhythm of New York." That's changed for every city on the tour. My girl Miku, she knows her geography. Remember the Canada Miku cutout? Well, the man behind it, PEKYVR, was the biggest winner of the night because he got his cutout stolen by a true Canadian patriot. It sucked because the man behind it got permission to display her at the venue alongside a bouquet of flowers, and all of that was out of his pocket. He made a tweet talking about it, and it got a boatload of support to help this guy find his missing girl. Meanwhile, when Miku Expo posted their tweets about the concert, people weren't so kind. They were furious. They weren't addressing the merchandise, the draconic rules, or how this show looked like that one commercial of 1984. But whatever. People still had a good time despite the chaos, evident by the fact that someone pissed on the dance floor. Vancouver, am I right? One city down, 16 more to go. It's time to cross the border and go visit. Okay, maybe the holograms were in Portland because fuck Canada. America #1, baby. The Canada Miku guy was about to make another appearance here. Well, until he got searched at the border. He was going to give away badges and keychains of Hatsune Miku, but DHS wiggled their fingers, and now he's apparently on a customs blacklist. Great omen, by the way. Whatever. Maybe the Americans were having all the fun. Oh no! The LED screen was also in Portland. Crunchyroll was committing to the bet. So of course, people got angry. Someone on Twitter talked to an attorney for a potential lawsuit against the organizers. The reason? False advertisement, since they apparently promised that there was going to be a hologram instead of the TVs. Spoiler, nothing really came from it, and everyone forgot about it a few days later. The Portland show itself was a little better due to the audience being a little more excited, and people starting to accept that maybe the LEDs weren't that bad, but there were some still huffing the copium. From all of this mess, there was a rumor spreading that the LED TVs were actually a placeholder because the real, cooler holograms were in storage for a bigger event, so the fandom had to suffer for just a bit longer. Ooh, too soon? During the lineup outside the concert venue, a Twitter user, Swagjarin, and her friends were nearly ran over by a car spinning out and hitting the median. The driver, likely under the influence, sped off with his car damaged, but something valuable fell off. The license plate. Swagjarin made a tweet about it that went viral, and people would soon learn about the tragedy of 7ZDA474. That's the number people in that line will remember forever, because the license plate was being passed around like a trophy to say that they survived the chaos. What happened to the driver? We may never know, but at least he can take solace in knowing that the license plate was given to the authorities instead of hanging on a Luca fan's shrine. The show itself was also notable because people were begging for a savior, and they had a glimmer of hope during the ad showcase. Your guardian angel has come to save you from Miku Expo. Alpharad and Jaden Animations was there, so that's cool. There was also an after party that served alcoholic drinks featuring all the Vocaloids. Aside from Kaito, where he was shafted to become Kaito Water. My boy's the designated driver. I'm so proud of him. Overall, San Jose was definitely the most wild on the tour yet, and it's going to get more wild when we take a little detour.
Coachella.
Okay, this was technically not part of the tour, but it's very important to the story, so why not? There was a rumor going around that the holograms missing from the previous shows were actually in storage to be showcased at Coachella. It's one of the most prestigious music festivals in the world, hosted in the middle of nowhere, California. It's very important to secure a spot here if you want influence, and Miku actually earned her spot for the 2020 festival, but, well, you know. The return in 2024 was not only to fulfill a promise, but it was also a litmus test to see if Crunchyroll was throwing a fastball on the Vocaloid fans with the screens. On the night of April 12th, fans around the world saw the truth with their own eyes. You had to spend $400 to get into Coachella. They're the real suckers! It was a fun concert that showcased the Vocaloid to the boomers around America, but it was also a confirmation that they were going all in with the TV screens, thanks to a statement by Krypton, which are the Vocaloid guys. The Vocaloid fandom was now deep in the bargaining phase. This is the city where all hope goes to die. Literally. Tickets were apparently being resold for less than $5 due to how disappointing the tour was. But to those who still went despite the slop, they had a big surprise waiting. The merch line was apparently very long this time around, at about 6 hours. Phoenix is America's hottest city, and it starts to become hot during April. The native Phoenicians have some unorthodox ways of cooling off, like shaving their heads bald. Meet Bald Miku. I don't know why this meme exists, but it was popular enough to get its own dedicated plushies. People saw this one video and ran with it, and shaved their own Miku plushies to bring to future concerts. Whoever the culprit was that night will never know what horrors they brought upon Miku Expo. On a lighter note, the CEO of Krypton Future Media was there. Miku's daddy came to see her perform, which frankly is adorable. Until he apparently tripped and fell. Gojo from Jujutsu Kaisen apparently came to check if he was okay, and thankfully he was. However, something terrible happened when the show began. Len's penis hitbox was exposed. The bassist was playing so well that the pixels of the LED screen glitched out and shifted to a magenta hue. That's another reason why people don't really like the LED screens. If something happens, you will notice. The hitbox did close up with time, but poor Len had his manhood targeted like he was about to get JFK'd. Despite issues with the screens, people began noticing that the show's quality had been improving over time. Whether it be the audience being hilarious, they hate becoming exhausted, or Crunchyroll actually listening. You stupid. Miku Expo 2024 was going to become something to remember. Los Angeles, the city where cultures collide. That's why someone brought a cockroach Miku to show off. Jokes aside, the show itself was rather uneventful, mainly because everything went as well as it did. The LED lights and the screen became more optimized, people actually got their light sticks, and there was only one casualty this time around. Just the Vocaloid fans having fun. There were some people still bitter at the organizers, but you're basically speaking to a brick wall at this point. I don't know if Elmo, Bald Miku, or Miku's daddy had something to do with it, but beyond this point, the discussion cycle becomes very repetitive, so I'll just do a lightning round of the rest of the tour with other cursed things that happened. Ladies and gentlemen, Bald Miku returned! Also, apparently someone pissed during the shows again, which is, nice. Apparently, a trend started for people to bring their 3DS to every single show, and Dallas is no different. Due to the assault on our ears, Nurse Miku has passed away. Such is life in Dallas, Texas. Nothing really happened in Austin, aside from people bringing Splatoon plushies and Teto Kasane dying of cringe. I welcome you to the Deep South's finest city of Atlanta. So of course, Jesus Christ himself made an appearance to boogie with Hatsune Miku, alongside his friends, Master Chief and Hitori from Bolchi to Rock. They clearly stole the show in the gay mecca of the South. Thankfully, the only casualty this time around was someone getting tased for trying to break into the show early. Also, Circus P, the guy who composed Intergalactic Bound, was in the show's audience. Small world. Taking place at the Walt Disney Theater in Orlando, Florida, Miku and Garfield the cat were engaged in a great battle. Disney owns Garfield. Well, the good parts. So maybe Miku got jealous and wanted some retribution. Also, the people in line got a taste of 5-second Florida rain because... Florida. Ladies and gentlemen, Bald Miku is back again! Oddly fitting of culture inside DC. Nothing else noteworthy happened here, but tragically, Miku was taken out JFK style after the DC concert. The prime suspect? Len Harvey Oswald. They couldn't do New York City, so they had to go with the sloppy seconds in New Jersey. The venue looked really cool though, not gonna lie. Behold, a wild furry Miku has made an appearance. Gosh, imagine dancing in that. It's gotta be like 200 degrees in there. Tragically, Miku and Rin were found dead in an apparent double murder. In Newark, they consider that a lucky day. To my knowledge, nothing really happened in Boston. Well, aside from there being a Boston Miku. Hey, get out of my way, Yorka. The Sox are playing like shit today, so I left Fenway early and got my jeweled Wawa. Oh, and Dunkin' Donuts Miku died. Remember the Canada Miku guy? Well, after his Portland fiasco, he was coming back to America for Detroit. However, danger awaited him. He was held for questioning due to his blacklist status.
All units at location responding code.
Oh yeah.
Thankfully, he was allowed through, and due to that, he and many others saw the return of the legend himself. Elmo!
Fuck it up, Elmo!
Bro thinks he's Aqua from Oshinoko. In Chicago, nothing really happened, aside from there being only 30 glow sticks when there was likely 1,000 people in attendance. It especially hurt because apparently, people waited 6 hours in the merch line. That's gotta be the longest night of their lives, and it got even longer because someone took Miku Expo out of the venue and onto the streets. It's a miracle no one passed away that day, so there's a plus. Welcome back to the second Canadian city on the tour. Great news, Canada Miku is back and better than ever. People took pictures with her to celebrate the moment. It also helped that there was this one dude who hosted a giveaway contest of various Vocaloid merch, like pins and Nendoroids, which are like the Funko Pops for anime nerds. This photo looks like a drug bust, by the way. The concert itself was likely the best yet for many people. It really seemed like everything was healing. People were making the best of a bad situation. But unfortunately, all good things must come to an end. Last but not least, comes the final city of the tour, Mexico City. The only show that took place in Mexico, despite there being 4 times as many people there than in Canada, but whatever. Something that rarely gets brought up is how the show's merch was actually handled by 2 separate teams, one for the US and Canada, and the other for Mexico. Arcade Media is the team set up for handling the merch in Mexico. They have a less than stellar reputation over there. They've been caught selling poor quality merchandise before, and when it came for the merch list to be released for Mexico, it was noticeably smaller than across the border. Notably, no glow sticks. At least they get a towel. Mexican fans were pretty angry at Crunchyroll and Arcade Media, especially considering that the head of management has been shown to use some avant-garde language when talking about Vocaloid fans. When you translate the tweet, he's basically giving you one of these. Por fuera de la parecería, the Mexico show went off pretty spectacularly. People were throwing Miku plushies, everyone was jamming at Mexico's second national anthem, Miku Fiesta. And popular YouTube animator, Senor Pelo, was in attendance. He's actually subscribed to me, so if you're watching this, hey, ¿qué onda? Miku actually spoke Spanish to the audience during the interlude scenes, which is honestly the cutest thing in the world.
Hola, México! Bienvenidos a Miku Expo 2024!
But all cute things must come to an end. And when Miku left the TV screen for the last time, The audience can only applaud her and the team for their hard work. And thus concluded the Tour of Failure. What happened? Why did Miku Expo use TV sets instead of a piece of crap hologram? Well, to this very day, the answer is unclear, but the theory I think is most likely has to do with Crunchyroll and cost cutting. Crunchyroll is a company known for making really good choices that screw up the consumer experience in order to save a nickel. I assume that the holograms are expensive to maintain and difficult to transport, so the Crunchyroll execs found a way to save money by replacing it with an LED screen that diminishes the magic a bit. The people at Krypton Future Media were fine with it too, so that's the mess we find ourselves in today. A company making a product worse at the expense of consumers' enjoyment. Name a better duo. Even though people complained, I noticed after the Denver concert that complaints slowed down and people started to enjoy the concert for what it was. Other Miku Expo events happened in 2024 in Europe and Australasia, but with the LED screen still in place and the musicians being still imprisoned in cages. Yeah, I'm serious, that happened. I guess this is the acceptance phase, where, yeah, we lost a friend in a car crash, but the only thing that we can do is to keep moving forward. All things considered, it was a cursed concert where people partied, made friends, died, and almost died. But we all had fun whether we were there or just following it on Twitter. I remember following this disaster throughout my final months of senior year, up to my graduation date. I'm still very happy that I went to experience one for myself. But Suwawako, you weren't there. Yeah, I was. I'm literally here right now. Oh shoot! Oh no! No! Look at it, it's all jiggly now.